Okay, we are talking about prospecting and how to collect information on your customers. Once you collected your information, you have to learn to organize them. Organizing means you are going to put a proper list and see how many customers are there and how many have been contacted and how many of them have said yes, how many of them have said no, or how many of them are kind of iffy that we are not sure about. So for that, you have to make use of various apps. So here is one link that kind of shows you what are the different apps that you can use to keep track of your customers. Now, Slack is a very famous app that you might have heard of that you can use to communicate with your other sales employees within the company. LinkedIn is another app. You may not be able to keep track of the customers that you are contacting, but still you can find new leads on LinkedIn. Twitter is another way how you can get information. Okay, now if you go further down, you can see Wunderlist. Most likely it's a list of potential customers that you can keep track of, see how many of them have been contacted, how many times have you contacted them, and whether they are willing to say buy from you or not. And depending upon the type of product that you are selling, for instance, if you are in selling automobiles, cars and trucks and those kind of things, maybe this number 22 Pulse Auto Dealer may be a useful app. Expensify is another app because it helps you keep track of how much time you have spent, how much expenses you have incurred in meeting your customers and things like that. Sales Rabbit, and another very famous company called Salesforce. All these are very important things that you need to keep track of. Now, Salesforce.com is a multi-billion-dollar company. They provide a lot of help for the salespeople, but then your company need to have subscribed if you want to make use of their products and solutions that you can see here. Their primary benefit is to keep track of your customers and how you can make influential presentations so that they become your customers, and they give you useful analytics and integration. You may be working in sales and somebody else may be working elsewhere, so the Salesforce can provide integration across multiple people, multiple units within your company. So you need to know all of them and you have to educate yourself. So when you join a company, they may have their own system. That is what we call the culture, right? Every company has its culture. So you have to know what their culture is, what is their setup is, what is their ecosystem of different services are. And then accordingly, you have to organize your prospect information. And if you have to report to your manager, you have to know, and whether you report to only one person or multiple people, you need to know, and you have to know them so that you can make progress in your position as a salesperson. Gathering intelligence, okay, or information. What makes that buyer buy? Is it the price? Is it the quality of the product? And whenever you collect information on your customers from this databases, it may not be complete. So you have to go to multiple sources. One obvious place is you go to their website if they have one, and you can find more information there. Now, if you are selling your services to a big company such as Google or Apple, they have blogs and they keep updating their blog, and you have to keep track of that blog so that you can keep up to date. And also you need to research your prospects, okay, so that you know what is going on. And you can conduct research in various places. The website is one obvious place, or these databases are another place. Maybe you can even go to the news section in Google and then type a particular company's name. For instance, here I am, news.google.com. And once I am here, I'm just going to search for, say, Starbucks. I want to know what is happening in Starbucks because I'm trying to sell my coffee powder to them. And once I do that, you can see that what are all the important things that are out there about Starbucks. And I can see a lot of these things. Now, some of them will be very helpful for me in terms of selling coffee powder to them. But then this also gives me an idea of how to keep the small talk going, the chit chat going at the time of approaching the customer. And you can click on the business section, and then you can go to one particular company so that you can learn more about what is happening. So I want you to think about all these ways of researching your prospects who can potentially become your customers down the road. And another thing is, in addition to all these different apps that I showed you, there is another big app called another different type of app called customer relationship management, CRM. Okay, customer relationship management. Now think about it. You are one of the salespeople that are trying to sell Starbucks, and similarly there are 2 or 3 other people that are also trying to sell to Starbucks in different locations. If you don't coordinate, if you have heard something from the local manager of the company's direction, you need to put it in your database so that the person who is selling it in East Coast or West Coast also read it. That means you have to organize the information. If you go and ask the question and your colleague also goes and asks the same question to a different manager, it's waste of time, it's waste of energy. And that is where the CRM, customer relationship management, can be very helpful. Salesforce has its own CRM software. And what is CRM? And there are various other CRM systems that you can make use of. So when you become a salesperson, you need to develop your own system of apps and this kind of CRM software and things like that. If you are working for a big company, then they will provide you access to whatever they have subscribed to. If you are a small company, or if you are the only person in your small business and the small business owner have asked you to say go and run the business for you by selling, then you have to identify which of the apps that you will be using. Okay, I already talked about Slack in one of the earlier videos. So these are all the things that you have to know in the context of prospecting, creating a list of your customers. And in the next video, we will quickly talk about how you can use this idea of prospecting in the context of your interviews. Thank you.